Welcome to Bollywood Deep Dive from IndiaReview.com, your daily Bollywood news. Let's get into it. We have so much to talk about today. The box office numbers are just flying in, and it feels like every other day a new film is crossing some massive milestone. It's a very good time to be a box office tracker, that's for sure. And leading the charge right now, no surprise, is the latest installment in a monster franchise. Dhamal 4 has officially entered the 100 Crore Club. And it did it in just 4 days. 4 days. That is just lightning fast. It's already become the 7th highest grossing Bollywood film of 2026, and we're only in July. It's a comedy franchise that people just have a deep, deep affection for. You know what you're going to get, you know you're going to laugh, and Ajay Devgan at the helm of that ensemble cast, it's just a recipe for success. It is. It's comfort food cinema, but in the best possible way. And in a world of complex, heavy films, sometimes you just want to go to the theater and laugh until your sides hurt. Clearly, a lot of people wanted that this past weekend. Absolutely. And speaking of hitting big numbers, Alia Bhatt's film Alpha is also doing really well. It's just crossed the 90 crore mark at the worldwide box office. Which is fantastic, but the big question now, after 11 days, is whether it has the legs to make it to that coveted 100 crore mark. It's chasing another film that's been in theaters a bit longer, Diljit Dosanjh's Main Vapasanga. And that's the interesting comparison, isn't it? After a full month, over 32 days, it looks like Main Vapasanga might just miss scoring a century. It shows you how tough it is to get from that 90 crore milestone to the 100 crore finish line. It's that last 10% that's the real fight. It really is. It depends on what other films are coming out, what the word of mouth is like, whether people are going back for a second viewing. Alpha has a shot, but it's not a guarantee. But you know what isn't a question anymore? The success of Samantha Ruth Prabhu's Telugu film, Ma Inti Bangaram. Oh, now this is the story I love. On its 25th day, it has officially entered the 100 Crore Club, and in doing so, it has created history for female-led Telugu films. This is huge, genuinely monumental. To have a film centered on a female lead, carried on her shoulders, achieve this level of commercial success is just brilliant. It's a testament to her star power and the quality of the film. It proves that audiences are hungry for these stories. You don't always need a massive male superstar to guarantee a blockbuster. Samantha has been consistently delivering incredible performances, and this feels like a real coronation moment for her at the box office. I am so happy about this one.
Me too. It's one of those results that you hope will send a very loud and clear message to producers and financiers. Invest in these stories.
Exactly. And it's not just in Telugu cinema. We're seeing interesting results all over. In Tamil cinema, Fahad Fasil's ensemble film, Idayan Murali, is doing great, passed its Monday test with flying colors.
And another win in Telugu cinema, Akhil Akkineni's new film Lenin has officially become his highest-grossing film ever. That has to be an amazing feeling for him.
It really does. But it's not all sunshine and box office records. Over in the Malayalam industry, Prithviraj Sukumaran's new film I Nobody seems to have crashed on its first Monday.
Oh no, that's always tough to see, especially with an actor of his caliber. It just goes to show how unpredictable this whole business is. You can have the biggest stars, and sometimes a film just doesn't connect. A reminder that for every Dhamal 4, there's an I Nobody.
A very sobering but true point. The audience is always the ultimate decider.
Okay, so from the box office to what's coming next, because we have some absolutely wild casting news. Are you ready for this?
I saw the headline, and I had to read it 3 times to make sure it was real.
Alia Bhatt is joining the cast of Tumbat 2.
I know, it's wild. Tumbat is this beloved, atmospheric, genuinely terrifying cult horror film. It's this dark, grimy, mythological masterpiece. And now you're adding one of the biggest mainstream stars in the country to its sequel?
My first thought was, wow, the budget for this sequel must be enormous. Her joining this elevates it from a cult sequel to a major cinematic event. It's an incredible choice for her too. It's so unexpected.
It really is. She's coming off Alpha, this big commercial film, and now she's stepping into the world of Tumbat alongside Soham Shah and Nawazuddin Siddiqui. It signals that this isn't going to be a small niche follow-up. They are going big. I cannot wait to see what kind of character she plays in that universe. The possibilities are endless. Is she a victim? A villain? Someone who seeks the treasure? It's just perfect out-of-left field casting. And speaking of going big, how about the ambition on display for Ranbir Singh's upcoming zombie film, Pralay?
Oh, this got me very excited. The report is that the makers are in talks with the prosthetics team from the Danny Boyle film 28 Days Later.
The film that redefined the modern zombie, not the slow, shuffling ones, but the fast, terrifying, rage-filled infected. That is the gold standard for that genre.
To even be aiming for that level of practical effects and realism shows that they're not messing around. They want to make a truly world-class, terrifying zombie thriller, not just a standard Bollywood horror film.
And with Ranbir in the lead, you know he's going to commit 1000% to the physicality and the horror of it all. This could be a real genre-defining moment for Hindi cinema if they pull it off. I have very high hopes.
From the future of horror to a legend of the past making a return, Govinda has officially announced his comeback.
Yes! He held a press conference to announce a self-produced film called Rupa. He even unveiled the first poster.
I have such a soft spot for him. His comedic timing, his dancing, he was just an entire era unto himself. He said at the event, people kept saying, now he won't appear in films anymore, and he's here to prove them wrong. I love that fighting spirit.
It's tough to make a comeback, especially in an industry that changes so quickly. The style of comedy has changed, the way films are marketed has changed, but talent is timeless. I really hope he finds a project that captures that old magic but feels right for today.
Me too. Everyone loves a good comeback story.
Speaking of beloved actors trying new things, let's talk about Akshay Kumar. There's a great story from the writer of Welcome to the Jungle, Farhad Samji.
I saw this. It's perfect. He revealed that Akshay Kumar's character in the film is a failing Bhojpuri actor whose last 14 films have tanked.
And apparently, when they pitched this to Akshay, he jumped at the idea of playing a flop hero. That is brilliant. The level of self-awareness is just fantastic. For a superstar who has had his own share of ups and downs at the box office, to embrace a role that so directly pokes fun at the fickle nature of stardom, that's a great sign. It shows he doesn't take himself too seriously, which is exactly the energy you need for a madcap comedy like the Welcome franchise. It's very meta and very, very funny. I love that he was so game for it. It reminds me a bit of that wonderful anecdote that just came out from Saif Ali Khan about his transformation for Omkara. Oh, another icon. What was the story? He was talking about playing that role and how he had to shave his head, and his mom, the legendary Sharmila Tagore, gave him a very stern warning. She said, "Don't go and just ruin your face." A classic mom response. Even when your son is one of the biggest movie stars in the country, you're still his mom, worried he's going to do something silly to his hair.
Exactly. But it speaks to what a huge risk that was at the time. For a mainstream leading man to so drastically change his appearance for a role was a big deal, and it completely paid off. That performance is iconic. It's lovely to hear that little behind-the-scenes story.
It really is. It gives you a little peek into their lives. Kind of like the news that Ranbir Kapoor just bought 25 acres of land near Pune.
For 16.5 crore. Just a casual land purchase.
You know, just picking up a little plot of land. It's one of those lifestyle details that's just fun to hear about. Good for him. I wonder what he plans to do with it.
Probably build a very nice, very private getaway. And who could blame him? Especially when you have to deal with some of the more serious industry headaches.
And we have a pretty serious one this week involving Diljit Dosanjh's film, Sutlej.
This is a tricky situation. The report is that the government is considering taking legal action over unauthorized screenings of the film.
The key issue being that these screenings happened without the film obtaining a certificate from the Central Board of Film Certification, the CBFC.
That's a major problem. The censor board is a mandatory step in the process of releasing a film to the public in India. To bypass it entirely and hold screenings, that's a very bold and potentially illegal move.
It raises so many questions. Why wasn't it submitted? Was there content they knew would be controversial? Or was it a logistical issue? Whatever the reason, you can't just decide the rules don't apply to you. The government getting involved suggests this is being taken very seriously.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, both for the filmmakers and for Diljit. It's a messy situation.
Speaking of messy situations, though, on a much, much lighter note, we have the latest chapter in the saga of Neha Dhupia versus the paparazzi.
Oh, I saw this. So just a few days after she was seen in a video calling out intrusive paparazzi for getting too close, she's now come out and said they have always respected her family's privacy and that she has a, quote, great relationship with them. The classic PR two-step. It's an art form, really. You have a genuine, frustrated human moment that gets caught on camera. Then, a day or two later, comes the carefully worded statement to smooth everything over. It's the dance of celebrity. You need them for publicity, but you also want your privacy. It's a constant negotiation, and sometimes the lines get blurred. You can't be too mad at her for having the initial reaction or for the follow-up. It's just part of the game.
It really is. It's a much less stressful legal situation than, say, having a plea against your home renovation go all the way to the Supreme Court.
You're talking about Shah Rukh Khan's Manette, of course. And the good news for him is that the Supreme Court has dismissed the plea against the renovations.
A bit of good news there. It must be strange to have the public so invested in what you do to your own home that it becomes a matter for the highest court in the land.
That's the price of having not just a house, but a landmark.
True, and another star having to manage his public image is Junior NTR, who had to put out a statement denying any association with an unauthorized fan organization using his name.
That's another tricky part of modern stardom. Fandoms are wonderful and so supportive, but sometimes a small group can go rogue or claim an official connection that doesn't exist, and the star has to step in and clarify. It's a necessary but awkward thing to have to do.
Absolutely. It's all about managing the narrative, which brings us to a bit of nostalgia because a massive comedy franchise is celebrating a huge anniversary.
Yes! Can you believe it's been 20 years since the first Golmaal film?
20! Golmaal Fun Unlimited came out 2 decades ago. That makes me feel incredibly old. Ajay Devgan posted about it, calling the journey full of unlimited fun.
And it has been. That franchise has had such incredible longevity. It's evolved over the years, but it's kept that core sense of slapstick, ridiculous fun that people fell in love with. It's a cornerstone of modern Bollywood comedy.
It truly is. And speaking of anniversaries, we got another lovely reunion. Amir Khan and his Lagan co-star Rachel Shelley met up 25 years after the film.
I saw the picture. It was so sweet. Fans were going wild in the comments, calling it iconic, and it really is. Lagan is such a beloved film, and to see Captain Russell and Elizabeth together again after all this time was just a really nice, heartwarming moment.
It's one of those films that's just etched into our collective memory. It's more than a movie, it's a cultural event. Seeing them together again brings all those feelings back. It really does. And we also got a great little story from the past from Jitendra, who was telling an anecdote about Hema Malini. Oh, what happened? He said he introduced her to a filmmaker for a project early in her career. He was supposed to be in the film too, but then, as he put it, they threw me out of the picture and didn't even tell me. Oh, that's classic old Bollywood. No emails, no formal notices, you just find out you've been replaced. It's funny to hear these stories now from a legend like him. He can laugh about it now, but I bet he wasn't laughing then. I'm sure he wasn't. It's just a funny glimpse into how the industry used to work. A little more chaotic, perhaps.
Just a little. We also got a peek behind the curtain of a more modern institution, the Kapil Sharma Show.
Yes, Kiku Sharda, who is a key part of the cast, said in an interview that about 70% of the show is actually scripted. That's fascinating.
I think a lot of people assume it's almost entirely improvisational, but it makes sense. To produce a show of that quality week after week, you need a solid foundation. The magic is making the script feel spontaneous.
He did say that some guests, like Salman Khan, are impossible to predict, which is where the real improv comes in. But it's interesting to know that there's a strong script underneath all that chaos. From television to a much more personal topic now, there was a really thoughtful piece making the rounds about why more Bollywood actresses, like Priyanka Chopra and Kriti Sanon, are choosing to freeze their eggs. I'm glad this is being discussed more openly. For a long time, there was so much pressure on actresses to choose between a career and a family, especially because the prime years for both can overlap. Exactly. Fertility preservation, like egg freezing, gives them options. It allows them to focus on their careers during those demanding years without closing the door on having children later if they choose to. It's about having control over their own timelines and their own bodies. It's a powerful choice, and the more stars who talk about it, the more it destigmatizes the conversation for everyone. It's a positive and empowering development. Totally agree. It's all about making the choices that are right for you, which seems to be a theme today. We also had Huma Qureshi talking very pragmatically about her film Baby Do Die Do, clashing at the box office with Alia Bhatt's Alpha, and her take was so sensible. She basically said, look, our film is a very small budget film compared to Alpha, and there are only so many weekends in a year. Clashes are just inevitable. It's such a refreshing, no-drama perspective. No rivalry, no fighting for screens, just an acknowledgement of the business reality. It's a healthy way to look at it. It really is. And finally, just one last fun piece of trivia that I loved. Did you see the story about why Fahad Fawcett apparently rejected a role in a Tom Cruise movie?
No, what happened?
He said the role would have required him to stay in the US for 4 months, but the production wouldn't pay for his stay.
Wait, really? For a Tom Cruise movie? They couldn't spring for the hotel?
That's what he said, so he turned it down. It's just amazing. It shows he knows his worth and isn't going to be wooed just by a big Hollywood name if the terms aren't right. Good for him.
Good for him is right. That's a story you tell at dinner parties for the rest of your life. The time I said no to Tom Cruise over a combination. Incredible. What a perfect way to end the day's news. It truly is. A little bit of everything today. Blockbuster numbers, exciting new projects, and a healthy dose of industry reality. Couldn't have said it better myself. Headlines to heartbeat stuck. You've been listening to Bollywood Deep Dive from IndiaReview.com. Come back tomorrow. Namaste.